what's our first thing we're talking about, Jackson?
Alright, let's start off with WandaVision. Now,
Kim.
I'm sure most of you guys have seen this show. It's awesome. Some people are saying it's better than The Mandalorian.
It's just different. It's just, yeah, it's...
You can't quite compare them.
The first season might be better than Mandalorian just because The Mandalorian was really slow at first. And it felt kind of weird. Whereas WandaVision actually feels kind of normal how slow it's going.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're going like the same speed. And they're completely different storylines. And the slowness works better with the WandaVision storyline, in my opinion. But Mandalorian, I think, is like, especially after season 2 and stuff and all of that, like, it's definitely a much better show. But that's also because, you know, we've seen so much more of it.
Yeah, and even this is the first we've seen of Marvel in a year now, right?
Well, the most recent like live action thing was like Far From Home in July.
Oh, jeez.
Because Black Widow was supposed to be the fall movie that came out in
Yeah.
2020, but then that obviously didn't happen. So the most recent Marvel live action thing we've gotten since before WandaVision was Far From Home in July.
So it's been a while now.
It's good to finally have a new MCU thing to watch because, you know, we've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah, and it's back to WandaVision. Let's start with episode 1. This was 60s, I believe. They based it off the 60s. It's really fun to kind of look and see like the shows they've based it off of.
Yeah. So the first one was based off of I Love Lucy, and then the second one was based off of Bewitched, and then the third one was based off of Brady Bunch.
Yes.
Just so you know, those are those like they haven't officially said that, but that's kind of like the overall consensus in the fan community.
It's kind of fun to see Marvel take this change in like what they're doing with things, because I kind of said this last video, but we've been seeing a lot of live action from them. It's fun to see things that aren't live action. Like, I'm sure the sitcom will turn into live action, but it's fun to see it.
It is live action. It is live. Do you not know what the definition of live action is? Live action is when it's like a video.
Okay, well, my bad. I'll read.
You're just talking about action, right? That's what you mean. You just mean to say action. Yeah, live action is. Live action is action, guys. I can't believe it.
Alright, Tyler.
Was that like a slip up or was that like serious?
That's confidential.
Okay. Talk about the action thing.
Alright, so it's fun to see them switch from
I thought you were gonna say action. Just keep going.
It's fun to see them switch from sort of more of an action-based movies to more of like this sitcom sort of situation. It's interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting change for them. I don't know.
It's like an eerie...
Yes.
It's like an eerie thing. Instead of like really focusing on the action, it's more of like a weird like story thing that like is like really supposed to get your like mind churning, and you're supposed to really like... A lot of people will probably have way more theories about what's going to happen in WandaVision than, like, say you could ask someone about Mandalorian. Like, there's just way more things that people, like, it just, like, incites so much more thinking, which I think is an interesting idea. And it's really fun, you know, just to watch the episode, and while you're watching it, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, and, like, even to see how quickly they can change things. Tyler sent me a meme about this, but, like, they really can have, like, the first, like... half of the movie, or I guess like even like 2/3 of the movie is completely fine. It's just normal, like a normal TV show, and then right there, like halfway to the end, after those 2/3, it's like complete chaos, and you're like, what just happened? And then they make it right back like, normal right at the end, and it's just
like the first one.
Yes. The
first one was when he was choking. The second one was when she saw the helicopter
and then what's her face cut her
the
hand.
Radio. Yeah, and the lady cut her hand. Oh yeah, the last one was the weird beekeeper dude at the end.
Yes.
And then the third one, oh my gosh, like probably the funniest like thing for all of them, like out of all of them, the funniest one was like when the dude was just like cutting his wall.
He's like, oh yeah, thanks for warning me. He just like keeps going.
Hey Hub! Think you might have taken the hedge trimming a little too far there, old chum.
So I have.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I mentioned it.
It just keeps going. and then also the creepiest one happened in the same one when Wanda was just like, "What do you say?" And then just like got really weird and.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
And in the trailer,
Like-
it shows her throwing that lady out of the the dimension thing she's created, and what we think is Sword picking her up.
Yeah, because sword is the symbol on her chest. It's like shield, but it's more for like
a worldwide
It like shield.
spectrum.
Yeah, shield more focuses like on the world, and then sword more focuses like on aliens. Like sure, shield like tries to focus on aliens, but I think sword is more of that like over. It's more of, I don't know. It's hard to explain because I don't know much about sword. I just know that it exists and it's pretty much like shield. It's just its own thing and it does its own completely different thing, but at the same time it's the same. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what are your theories, Jackson?
All right. People are saying that the hexagons we are continuously seeing have to do with AIM possibly being behind it. But then there's also hints towards Hydra being the cause because of the commercial that showed Hydra soap. And
Yeah, and the
And
watch,
the
in the
watch,
first
yes.
one. I mean, in the second one, not the first one.
they're the same two actors in each one. The commercial actors don't change throughout each of the commercials. You can go back, look, and see. Like, they change up the outfit. But people are saying that it's supposed to represent her parents.
The first one was like a Stark toaster, and at the beginning of Wanda's life, remember she and her brother were like trapped in a building with like
yeah.
a Stark bomb.
Yes.
Okay, and then the second one, it's a Strucker watch, and after like they get over that whole bomb thing, Strucker finds them and he like basically like recruits them for like the weird program thing where they get their powers. And then the third one is about like it's Hydra soap, and I think it might represent like the brainwashing they went through like afterwards. Like I think that's what it means, but I'm not sure about that one. But there's like it also sort of following almost like a timeline of her life, which is kind of interesting.
Yes. And everyone has their theories. Everyone has their theories. It's really interesting to talk to people about this. Well, I think the main theory for like how it all happened going around right now is that Wanda wanted to get Vision back and got help from this witch lady, and I forget her name, but she's in a lot of Marvel comics that Wanda's in, and she's tricked by the witch, and I think that Wanda eventually finds out, like kind of in the third episode almost, that she's trapped in this universe, but
doesn't
want to leave.
Yeah, and then she doesn't want to leave.
Yes.
Yeah. I get, and it's kind of weird because like by the end of the third episode, I was like, so she knows what's going on. But then I actually watched all the episodes again just because they're so good, and you realize that halfway through the second one, she actually like tries to tell Vision that weird things are happening. So it's almost like she also has to discover on her own, and she just discovers it faster.
Yes.
I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's like just because she's like the person it's all centered around. I'm not exactly sure, but she does try to tell Vision, and then suddenly she just decides that she doesn't want to anymore, which is kind of a weird thing. And I mean, we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah. And people are saying that the babies she had, people are like wondering a lot of things about them, but they're saying that her babies were, in the comics at least, it's really weird. They're like reincarnations of the devil, which is super weird. And so she's forced to kill off her babies, and then they're reincarnated a second time and they're fine and they both have superpowers. So what I think's gonna happen is they're just gonna skip the whole like with the devil stuff and just go straight to the babies having superpowers, because it'd be kind of weird to have all that in it.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Yeah, some of the comics have weird things in them
Really
that
weird.
they just kind of skip over, and sometimes they like to forge their own path because they obviously don't want to be too predictable, and like origin stories and things like that are pretty similar most of the time. But I like how the MCU just is its own thing, and it's definitely like they should definitely keep it that way, and they will. Like there's no doubt that they'll just they won't just suddenly start following the comics word for word.
Some characters have so many different backstories. I've heard Wanda has about 5. Vision in one of his has his own family. He gets married to another android.
Oh man.
There's so many weird things that go on.
They just do whatever they want with those characters.
Yeah.
they can just keep recycling this until the end of time.
I know. Crazy. And they even have already they made the movie about Hulk and switched actors for the Hulk.
Yeah. And they could even with this whole multiverse thing starting to develop, they could even go back and almost make it so it really was 2 different universes that this Hulk was in. And I think maybe that's not necessarily something they should do, but they should definitely do it with all the other Marvel movies basically. That way everything is involved now, and I think that'd just be just a cool thing to suddenly be yes, everything that we made and everything that we will make, even if we go back and reboot characters, they all exist. They've all happened.
That'd be insane. Even the old Spider-Man movies, that'd be cool to see.
Take too much time.
Well, one more thing. Tyler pointed this out to me. The actor for Vision is actually Dryden Voss from Star Wars, Han Solo. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, just a little speck of information. The podcast that doesn't float's fact of the day.
There you go. Vision's also Dryden Voss.
Nice.